In this video, we're going to be going over how to make your flash effects look different. I'll be breaking down 2 different methods that are really simple to do, and it's also just a good way to not always create the same type of flash effects. So make sure to drop a like and let's get right into After Effects. Alright, so we're going to be creating a flash blur effect between these 2 clips right here. And to get started, let's create an adjustment layer. Click Ctrl-Alt-Y. And for this one, because we are going to be creating a smooth flash effect, I'm going to make this adjustment layer 19 frames. And I want this flash effect to start in the first clip. So I'll just bring that back 2 frames. For the first effect, we're going to be adding an exposure. Once you add that exposure, increase the gamma correction. I'll increase that to 0.5. And for the exposure, let's keyframe that at 0 in the beginning. And then click the adjustment layer, click U to reveal the keyframes. Go towards the middle where the cut is. And let's increase that exposure, have that a lot brighter. So I'll just increase that to 3. Go towards the end, keyframe that back to 0. Easy ease all 3 of those keyframes. And so we already have a really smooth flash effect right here. To add a little more to this flash, let's add a glow. So I'm just using the regular glow that's already built into After Effects. For the glow radius, I'll increase that to 150. And then let's decrease the glow intensity because we're going to be keyframing this. I'll decrease that to 0.6 and then keyframe that right where the cut is. Then let's keyframe both the beginning as well as the end at 0. Easy ease the keyframes. And this is what we have for the final flash effect. But to make it look even better, we're going to be adding a blur. So let's create a new adjustment layer. For this adjustment layer, make sure it's the same length as the clip that you're going to transition into. And we're going to be adding a radial blur. Once you add the radial blur, it affects the entire clip, but I only want the radial blur to be on the outer part of the clip. So open up the proportional grid and then grab rectangle tool, change that to the ellipse tool. If you hold the Alt button and then just click through shapes. So I want the ellipse tool and I want to create a perfect circle. Hold the shift button, left click, and then just drag over composition. So I think that should be good enough. And I want this mask to be like right in the middle. And instead of having it at add, let's change that to subtract. And then open up the mask settings by clicking M twice. Let's turn off the proportional grid and then increase the mask feather so that the edges are a lot smoother. Increase that to 200. And it's a little too intense, so we can lower the radial amount. Decrease that to 2. That should be fine. This is what we have for the final look. I'm just going to leave the radial blur amount as it is. I'm not going to keyframe it. So this is what we have for the final flash effect. And that is how you create the first flash effect. Really fire. Now moving on to the second flash effect, we're going to be creating a distort flash effect. So let's grab your 2 clips and then pre-compose them. After you pre-compose them, duplicate the layer, click Ctrl D, and I want this flash effect to start 10 frames forward. Grab your duplicated layer and just cut it so that's where it starts. And let's create an adjustment layer. Make this adjustment layer 20 frames because we want it to look really smooth. So if you hold the shift button and click page down twice on your keyboard, it goes forward 20 frames. And we want it to start at the beginning of the second pre-composed layer. Let's add an exposure to this adjustment layer. Keyframe the exposure and the gamma correction in the beginning, and then go forward 10 frames, increase the exposure, have that a lot brighter. I'll just increase that to 3 and then increase the gamma correction, increase this one to 2. Go towards the end and just reset both of those keyframes. Easy ease all of the keyframes. This is what we have for the flash effect. And now we're going to create the distorted look. So for this second pre-composed layer, let's add a displacement map. Make sure you have your layer selected. So in my case, it's going to be the second layer. If you increase the max horizontal displacement, it creates this distorted look. So let's go towards the beginning of this layer. Also select the wrap pixels around for the edge behavior. And for the max horizontal as well as the vertical displacement, keyframe both of those at 0 in the beginning. Then open up the keyframes and let's go forward 10 frames. Increase the max horizontal to 50 as well as the vertical. I don't want it to be too intense, so I think that should be good enough because I do want this to like animate out smoother. I'm going to go forward 14 frames and then just keyframe both of those back to 0. Then easy ease all the keyframes. This is what we have for the effect so far. So I think to make it look even better, we can create a fade out animation. Open up the opacity, decrease the opacity to 0%, keyframe that, go forward 10 frames, increase the opacity to 50%, go forward 14 frames, keyframe that back to 0%. Easy ease the keyframes so it creates more of like a smoother look. I'm also going to increase the scale for this layer just so that it creates more of a distortion. So I'll increase that to around like 115%. And this is what we have for the final look. Actually, I think it looks good even if the scale is at 100%. Yeah, so if you want to add more distortion, you can just increase it to 115. But I think both look fine. That is the second flash effect. Those are 2 different ways that you can create different flash effects. That's all I have for now. Appreciate you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.